Hey guys, what's up? Okay, so we got out to the range. We got to shoot some targets. We got to do some stuff. This video is basically going to be some speed shooting, a little bit of stress shooting, whatever you want to call it. I got my heart rate up, and just to see how these guys held up against each other. Kind of. It's a very, very non-scientific test. Okay, it's more or less seeing which system I feel more comfortable with, okay? Which system I really like better, and which one I think, I don't know, I just said it, which one I think I feel more comfortable with. All right, so I hope you all enjoy. Now let's do this. first off, next time I do that kind of drill, I'm just going to shoot a steel, because it's way more telling and way more interesting to watch shooting steel versus me shooting paper, because who cares and who can tell if these are really the targets that I was shooting anyway. So we're just going to go over it because I already shot them, so we're going to go over it. But next time I'm going to be shooting steel. That'd be a lot more interesting. Alright, so this is with the Colt. Correctly, the Colt first. Alright, the Colt with the EOTech at the 50 yards. So I shot, I think it was 3 times at steel at like 12 yards or 20 yards. I think it was like 20 yards. And then I ran back to about the 50-yard line, standing, and fired these shots. And I believe it was a 5-shot group. I say that, and there are not 5 shots on this paper. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know where the 5th shot is. And I don't know. It was kind of a mess, so we're just going to go with it anyway. But with the shots that were on paper, I have about a 10-inch spread. Alright? You can probably tell I'm not the kind of guy that runs out and does this every day, because if you do this every day and you do it for a living, you have to be better than this anyway. I don't care if you're using iron sights. You can't have an excuse for having a group 10 inches at 50 yards after only sprinting 50 yards. It's not that big a deal. So anyway, that's basically what I got, was a 10-inch spread at 50 yards. Move on from there to the 100 yards, which should be a lot better, right? Because I was supported. I shot off a rest, basically a bag or whatever. And yeah, it was kind of better. It was a 9 1/4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I do have 5 shots right here. Okay. And within a man-sized target, yes, I would still hit them at 100 yards, or whatever you want to call it. Even a deer, shooting at a deer, you'd still hit the vitals. I mean, kind of, depending on where you're aiming at. This would be kind of far out, and this one would be a little low. But it is what it is, okay? It's the first time doing it with that gun. And as you can tell, I'm out of practice. But a 9 1/4 inch group. Okay, that's what I got. I'm not saying that's good or bad. That's just the facts of it. That's what I got. So that was the Colt with the EOTech. All right, now we're going to move on to the budget mark, or the inspired Mk18, you might say, with the aim point. Okay, and again, the EOTech had the 1 MOA dot in the middle. I believe it's a 1 or 2 MOA dot in the middle. This is a 4 MOA dot. It's a big old dot. Okay, so at 50 yards again, I have a 12-inch group, and this is where it's kind of weird. Look on the back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I thought I only fired 5 rounds. So I don't know. That's why this whole thing was kind of messed up, but I'm going to go with it anyway because I don't want to waste the targets. But with those, it comes out to about a 12-inch group. Okay, so 12 inches at 50 yards. Not too hot, okay? Not very impressive at all in my eyes. So 50 yards, 12 inches. Move back to 100 yards. Make sure you can see that. Yeah, moving back to 100 yards, we got a 7. So that's better. And those are actually better. I mean, if you adjusted the sight up, you know, those are all within a 7-inch group with a 4 MOA dot. So the dot itself covers, what is it? That much. The dot covers this much. So if I put that dot on here, okay, the dot would cover this entire thing. That's why it's kind of hard to shoot precision shots with a 4 MOA dot, because you're aiming this big. It's hard to be precision. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm sorry. But anyway, a 7-inch group. So but even that's why it's weird. It's all so weird to me. I'm figuring it all out. The difference between the aim point, the EOTech, and all these kind of things. You got big dots, little dots. But that's what I got. Okay. So even though it's a bigger dot, I shot better with it than I did with the aim point. Okay. A little bit. 2 1/4 inches, but that is what it is. So that's what I got at 100 yards.
Alright guys, so basically this is not the best test to run on these two systems, as I might say later on. But basically, first off, I apologize. I'm basically out of screen in this shot and half out of screen in the last shot. So I'm going to try to work on my videography. Also, just explanation of what I believe are most of these malfunctions were because I was using just regular GI mags. They had a Magpul follower in it, so that may not have to do with it, but I was just having a little bit of trouble. Haven't had any trouble with the PMags though.
Alright guys, so here's the proof in the pudding, or whatever you want to call it. So I believe these were pretty much the same amount of shots on each paper. I didn't go through the trouble to count it, but they should have been about the same. I loaded up about 30 rounds in the mag, and I shot about the same on each target. So kind of looking at this and taking into account the, not necessarily the accuracy, but I don't even know how to put it. But because there's the height over bore issue when you're that close, so about a couple inches low, which is why a lot of these shots are going to be low. Some of them are right on, and I may have been compensating, I may not have been. But like the average of this group is lower, you know, than if you move the whole group up a little bit, that'd be a lot better. But the fact is that when you aim here at 15 yards or whatever I was at, you're going to hit lower, all right? That's just how it works, unless you're sighted in for that distance, and I'm not. So using the EOTech, with that big 64 MOA dot, and then the center point, the 1 MOA dot, this is what I was getting, okay? It's pretty consistent. I'm guessing these is a 3-shot group-ish, and it's not, none of them are really shot groups, but they're pretty much where they need to be, all right? They would have hit you if that's what you were shooting at. I mean, it would have hit a soda can. It would have done what it needed to do, okay? Moving over to this guy here, this is the inspired build, okay, with the aim point with the 4 MOA dot. And basically the same thing. I don't remember if I was shooting at these. I don't know what exactly these shots are at, but either way, these shots themselves, I mean, they're shooting at what they're supposed to be shooting at. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't have a shot timer. That's really what would have been the variable in all this, because all these, basically, as far as I can tell, the shots are on paper. All right, they are where they need to be. Like that aim point is a 4 MOA dot, so it's going to cover up this whole thing. All right, at 100 yards, granted, at 100 yards. Where I was at, it's going to be a lot smaller than that. But that group, all right, to me, that's pretty good. I mean, that's fine. I don't need to shoot hole in hole at that range, even though that'd be nice. But this whole thing, you know, it's fine with me. That's the size of somebody's heart. That's the size of a soda can or whatever you're trying to hit. It was working. It was doing what it needed to do. As far as shooting the steel, you saw on there, some of them I didn't hit it. You know, I was thinking too fast, or wasn't thinking, or whatever you want to say it, or I was moving too fast and just pulling the trigger. So you can miss when you're that close, even with a 4 MOA or a 1 MOA dot. So this is kind of what it is for what it's worth. There's no scientific anything necessarily that I even learned from this, but I shot them. And so I figured I'd show it because somebody might be interested and see what the real difference would be. The same shooter, just a different gun, shooting the same kind of ammunition, different optics. So that, for what it's worth, that's what it is. Okay, well there we go. Now you got all the facts. One of the things, I don't know, that it keeps irking me. I'm starting to really like this the EOTech 553. I like the 1 MOA dot, being able to have a smaller point of aim. I do like that. As far as having the big 64 MOA circle on those closer shots, I can't honestly say that I've noticed that much difference of being able to acquire my target and put rounds on it. I don't know. I'm just going to have to give it time and keep working it. I do like it. I do like the optic. I don't like how it shuts off and all that kind of stuff. And I see why people wouldn't like that, because it'd be annoying to have to constantly make sure that it's on, okay? But I do like it anyway, all right? So I'm going to keep giving it a shot, keep running it, and keep seeing what happens. At some point, I will be switching it with the other optic, because it is interesting to me to consider that, and you probably caught it in the video, I'm not the best shot in the world, but I seem to be more consistent when I was shooting this guy, okay? With a 4MOA dot at 100 yards, I was hitting the steel more consistently, I think, okay? I felt way more confident with it, and that could simply be the fact that maybe the EOTech is not dialed in exactly, okay? I don't know what it is. It's just something to consider, something to think about. And for me, I feel more confident, and that's a big thing to me when it comes to deciding which one of these guns would be more worth its salt. I mean, if you have a gun that you spend a crap ton of money on, but you're not super confident that you can take a shot with it, or if you have a gun that wasn't very expensive to build, but you're super confident, like you could drill something, you could drill a deer, you could get an intruder. If you're within 100 yards, and that's as far as my range goes right now, 125-ish, not my range, but the range that I go to. If you're within that distance, I can nail you with this thing, okay? And that's the confidence that you can get when you train with something. And it could all be a training issue too with this EOTech. I mean, I just don't have as much time on it as I do with the aim point. So we'll be giving these a fair shakedown in future videos and stuff, and I will be shooting more steel, okay? Partially, I didn't even plan to show you this, but partially because I just got off Amazon one of these, is a 4-pack of, I think they're 5-inch plates, and I'll just be hanging them on some hooks, hopefully putting them a little bit closer, you know, and I think that'll be interesting to see the difference between like the aim point and the EOTech, transitioning between closer targets, farther targets, and it's only a 5MOA, or it would be 5MOA, no, if it was at 100 yards, but a 5-inch circle at different distances, and being able to see, can I transition it quickly with the EOTech? Does that circle help me find it? And well, I don't know, all that stuff. Is it all myth? I don't know. We'll find out. I hope y'all enjoyed that. Stay tuned for more videos on these. I'm really excited about them. Really liking them. The Chinese clone Surefire thing is working fine. Haven't had any issues with it yet. So stay tuned on all that stuff, and we'll just keep running it. All right, y'all be good. You be safe. We'll see you in the next video.